So, for around 3 years now, I have been researching and getting into starforts all around the world because something about them just fascinates me to no end. And since moving to the Gulf of Mexico, I naturally want to look up all the starforts that are around me, which there are actually a lot of starforts. One of them being in Mobile, I discovered, which is, funny enough, a replica of a starfort that used to be there. And I was confused at first because I was like, it looks like half a starfort. Where's the other part? Come to find out, they demolished the whole starfort, spread the bricks over the river side, and then built this one in the 1970s, I believe. Let's see. So Wikipedia says that it was built in 1723, demolished in 1820, and then rebuilt in 1976. And apparently it was named Fort Condé by the French, but when the British took over, they renamed it Fort Charlotte. It's been taken over by the British, France, Spain, and the US. So what I can gather from the official narrative is that it was originally founded by Jean-Baptiste Lemoyne de Bienville in 1702, and it was located up the Mobile River, but the river flooded and they had to relocate the fort to its current site. So this is the Mardi Gras Park that is across from the Starfort, and Mobile is known for actually where Mardi Gras first started. I didn't know that until I moved down here. They have lots of Mardi Gras parades and it's a whole thing. It's so cool. But anyway, these buildings surrounding the fort, they're totally old world and with some of the most grandiose architecture. I love it. That window, look how beautiful that is. I wish we still built like this today. But it always interests me that in all of these surrounding sites of the starforts and the cities, the architecture is just incredible to me. Of course, the columns and the ornate detail. Interesting. Like, that's the wall right there. Yep. They built the interstate right over it. Or around it, or... Of course. Whoa. Holy crap. The stars. Christchurch. Look, it's written on the... Uh-huh. $1822 it says.
You know they upkeep the book. They put new walls in the Look at the stained glass. Is it the Eye of Sauron? Look at the bottom.
Oh my.
Yeah. There's a food pantry. Or a food share pantry.
Even ornate vents. Whoa. Oh, look at those beautiful columns. Oh. I'm not sure what these buildings were behind the church, but they look like a frat house, really. It started raining on us, so we had to take cover under a building, but it let me get this amazing panorama. This was a supposed guard tower that they built at the point of one of the bastions, which I don't know if I've seen this on other starforts before. Of course, I haven't been ground level to them. I've just been looking at them on Google Maps mostly. But it was interesting that they added those in the reconstruction. And there's this little security booth with a parking lot that I guess they used to monitor who parked there. It looked pretty abandoned though. The brick right here was beautiful to me also. And I climbed up on this wall so I could see the tunnels, because there's always tunnels when it comes to Starfort sites, it seems. And they actually have a Fort Condé Inn right next to the Starfort. It looks like somebody's thought of what a old inn should look like. And this is an interesting dude, just hanging out with his snakes and wrapped around a hand. According to the plaque, it said it was some kind of memorial thing for the Native Americans. But I still need to look into the symbolism a bit more. That looks like a movie set. Oh, and here's the cannons. But this is the Starfort. Look how much older these bricks look than like these. Wow. At that point, I wasn't aware that they had rebuilt the Starfort, so I thought it was the original, but it did look a little newer than I would think that it was supposed to be. Which, if they did rebuild it like they said, that's pretty impressive actually. It looks really, really intricate and well built. There's the bastion.
The lookout.
That's an old wall right there. So, interesting note, the research says that the fort was surrounded by a dry moat and additional earthwork defenses. I wonder what this is underneath this. First of all, what the hell is a dry moat? Why is it dry? But also, it said that the fort was laid out in a four-pointed star shape with sloped walls, but it was also set on top of a seven-sided sloped earthwork. And of course surrounded by the moat, which they didn't discover until excavations in 1960s. But I didn't see any of the earthwork structures or moats. Oh, there's the arch that all the Starforts have. Wow. this replica that they built of the Starfort was 1/3 the size of the original, and it was built on a 4/5 scale.
Whoa.
So apparently, when the river flooded and they had to move the fort to this site, they built a temporary wooden stockade fort named Fort Louis. They do a really good job making backstories for all of these places, even though the more you look into them, the more they seem to crumble
Look at that
under
wall.
scrutiny.
That's an old wall.
I really like this wall. Wonder how old it is for real. I noticed some indentions, some round indentions in the bricks, probably when they were molding them or however they make bricks. Not a mason. I know whatever they tell us in the narrative, in the history of our country, that it's not that old, but to me, in some of these places, it just seems very old, very ancient, and just gives me the feeling of being in Europe or any of those places over there that they say are way older than the US, which I don't believe.
It's that same old wall.
Gateway to Mobile's history.
Wow.
I just love the contrast between the old and the new right
And
here.
there's the Starfort right behind it. The brick road.
I didn't even catch that. I think this used to be a club.
You know what's interesting? That it says it's on the corner of Theater Street and Royal Street. Royal Theater. They're laughing at us. It's all a show.
And really, the more I dig into the mud flood and the Tartaria and the ancient builders and everything, that's what it feels like. It all feels like a show.
And the interstate, of course. Nobody suspects there's a probably hundreds, if not thousands of years old building right there.
And it also makes me want to know what's underneath it. So according to this one site, it said that there is a dock that went down to the river from the Starfort, and inside of it, they found 3 wells, a big house, 2 long barracks, which had 216 men. Okay, and there was a magazine to store the arms and the gunpowder. And then they said that a planned chapel was never erected, which I don't know how they could know that, but there you go. So that was my journey to Fort Condé, also Fort Charlotte, Fort Louis, whatever name you want to give it. I hope you found it interesting. I just wanted to put this out here for those who are interested in this stuff like I am. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day and keep searching for the truth.